I'm ready.
We're ready. Right, we're rolling. So, I was wondering, when did you first get into filmmaking?
Well, I've always liked filmmaking. So I've always liked film as a child, like going to cinema, going to view cinema with my friends, you know. My dad always loved like sci-fi films, used to watch them because he like grew up with Star Trek basically. So we used to just watch sci-fi films on like TV, DVDs, go to like the little Caribbean shop in my area and get like pirate DVDs from like a Chinese lady. So literally that is how films is the fact that there's so much variety, so much content out there. The fact that I would want to make content as well that pleases the masses, that, you know, just makes people happy and gives them enjoyment. I was like, you know what? I might as well. So there we are. And the fact that I also knew that, I liked, you know, I'm sort of like, I'm not a control freak, but I'm like sort of a organized, like, pedantic person. So I love to, like, you know, take charge of things. So I thought, okay, film producing, that is the one for me. Like, I can control things. I hire everyone. I organize the whole production basically, and that's what I like doing as well. So yeah.
Right. Do you see it like your work as like painting? Like you wouldn't want another artist coming along with a paintbrush and like putting a different stroke in there. You want to see the full thing.
Yes. I see my work as just the films I've made in general, or just how I approach filmmaking?
How you approach filmmaking.
So I see it as, I personally see my work as, okay, let me organise everything. Then if someone wants to chip in, I'll let them, like, I will paint the background and then I'll paint the figures. And then if they want to be like, add some depth to this, you know, character, or I don't know, like, add a little brush stroke there to make this pop, then, you know,
yeah,
I'm open to that.
You're ready for feedback, but
yeah, I'm definitely a person where I can accept feedback, like constructive criticism. That I think that's actually how the world goes round. So yeah,
I like that. Yeah, very much so. I listened to a bit of Ricky Thompson's podcast last night.
Okay.
Quite liked it.
Yeah, him and Denzel, they're like best friends, so they gel off each other, like literally. They are very, just in general, like the whole, like, play they have, like, it's because they're such good friends, they just make it funny, and you know nothing is scripted or fake, like, it's all, like, it's just all authentic, to be honest. That's why I like their podcast so much, because you know that they're not gonna portray an image of themselves that they're not, or they're not gonna, I don't know, give you a false sense of what they're saying isn't the truth.
Right. Yeah, they seem very real.
They really do, and that's why I like them. I think the realer you are as a person, the further you make it in life, to be honest. Like, if you just express what is truly on your mind, I feel like that lets people gravitate towards you more, because they know for a fact that what they see is what they get. And especially in like this whole, I don't know, social media society, or like technologically versed society, people just want to know what they get when they get it. So definitely.
What do you mean they get?
So for example, let's say if you portray yourself to be this person, right? Like, let's say you have, like, I don't know, a social media presence, and you're confident, you're bold, etc. But then when someone meets you in person, you can just about hold a conversation. It's like, it's just like, I don't know, the balance between it.
And it feels like you've been lied to.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But
yeah, I get you.
That's why I say that people who are authentic, they do actually make it in life, and they do actually make it further than most people.
Yeah, of course. You often see stories of celebrities who may have cheated each other, and then soon enough their careers are over, like
exactly.
Johnny Depp scandal. I can't remember, I think it was Amber Heard.
Amber Heard, ooh.
I'm not sure, but Amber Heard accused Johnny Depp of something, and
oh yeah, of like touching her inappropriately, or something along those lines. Yeah,
I don't want to get too much into that because it's none of my business.
Honestly,
but she didn't keep it real and she didn't go further. I don't know, she might have been in further movies.
Exactly.
Did you find the watching Star Trek or the specific types of films that you watched influenced how your films were made?
No. I say no because I'm not the biggest sci-fi fan. Like, I'm okay with it, but I just don't gravitate towards it. Like, honestly, if I wanted to label myself as like a specific filmmaker, it would be like, I love dramas, I love comedy films, I love things that are either based on actual reality, so I don't mind even documentary filmmaking as well, but I just like things that where I can relate to the characters there, or I can relate to that situation, or it's an entirely different world completely, but not sci-fi based, like whether it's like, I don't know, people going on an adventure, or I don't know, a fantasy world, etc. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you know any reason why that might be? Like, why you have that preference?
I don't know. I think it's just I've always been like a realistic person. Like, I always want to see the things that how I look at content in general is that I want to be looking at someone like me, right, doing whatever they're doing and being successful, or, you know, portraying a story that I can relate to in some sense, whether they're the same age or same background, or I don't know, they literally look like me, or I want to be whisked away to Fantasyland. Like, literally, it's either fake or it's just a completely different story. Like, I think that's why I do like anime so much as well, because you go into those fantasy lands like that. And then I do like dramas as well because, you know, it's that realistic situation, or it's that situation that is based on human image or human contact. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you find like there's much of a similarity in themes of like realness with Friends and South Park?
In South Park?
Yeah, because they both are like straight up front, they're delivering the truth, but in complete different ways, if that makes sense. So
okay.
one is, yeah.
Like Cartman. I mean, yeah, I get it. Like, in the South Park show or just in general?
In the cartoon show.
The cartoon show South Park. So, yeah. Like, Cartman's very real, you know, very, like, obnoxious and, like, outrageous in that sense. Then Carl's, like, cool and collected, but he always keeps 100. Then Stan keeps 100, but he's always flaky. And then Kenny's just there, but what can you say? So I do get that. I feel as though, in terms of like to be real friends or whatever, I do feel like Carl's approach is the best one, because Cartman's just outrageous. Like, he will say whatever, but he won't spare your feelings. But I feel like Carl approaches things with logic and reason, which is why I'd say he'd be like the most like ideal friend to have in like a friendship situation.
Okay.
But yeah.
Because he could plan it out if something goes wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. I haven't seen enough Friends to compare the characters.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't like Friends. I've watched like a good like 20, 30 episodes of Friends. I don't like Friends. I think it's one of the worst sitcoms ever. And I honestly feel like it doesn't deserve as much like credit as it's been given. Like, I don't know why people gravitate towards it so much. Like, there's so many other sitcoms that I like That 70s Show, My Wife and Kids, Fresh Off the Bel-Air, even newer sitcoms like Baby Daddy, that are so much more entertaining than Friends. I'm so sorry, I just don't get it. Even How I Met Your Mother, they basically came out at the same time, and How I Met Your Mother gets way more like negative press than Friends. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. Yeah, it's true. Friends, even though it's based on real life scenarios, it's not keeping it real as such. It's
That's
a
what I'm
bit,
saying.
yeah.
And it's highly like dramatized as well. Like How I Met Your Mother is literally like it's more realistic and it's more mundane in that sense, but it's literally a recount of two people that are grown and literally they knew each other in their like 30s and 20s or whatever, and then they grew old. It's just a recount basically. But what can you say? That's why I said I'd rather watch a show that relates more to me and is more relatable than something that is just highly fictionalized and I'm not gonna say not realistic, but it's like I'd rather watch something that's real, but it's more believable than something else that's just real, trying to be real, but not as believable.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. So like, something that relates to your culture and your modern world, like Star Trek and Star Wars, could still be realistic, but not in this modern world.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think I gravitate to sci-fi that much, because it could be the future, but it's not my future right now. So, what can you say?
Yeah. What sort of music do you like?
Music? So, I like anything really, but I mainly like R&B, rap, UK rap. I do like, and like American rap. I love trap music or drill music. I love drill music, like just the beats that get me excited. That's about it really. That's literally my music taste. I do like a little bit of Afro beats and bachata music. I love bachata music because I'm from Jamaica, so I love like that's a little bit of my culture, and like reggae as well, and like the dancehall culture. I just love that, so I do like music as well.
I quite like Bashment as well, like
Yeah,
Vibes
Bashment.
Cartel, do you know?
Yeah, I like Vibes Cartel. Yeah, there you go. That is down my street. Love Vibes Cartel. Love Alkaline. Taurus Riley, reggae artist. Coffee as well. Love Coffee. But yeah, that's my little music taste really.
I don't know if she wants to be named, but your friend, my housemate, showed me Vibes Cartel.
Yeah. There you go. See, we love it. Yeah.
Do you ever use music, like your own music taste, to influence the storylines of your films?
No. No, I've never done that before. Maybe I should. No, I've never done that before.
Okay. Have you ever used music in films?
Yeah, I've used music in films, but it's mainly been like an original composition. Like I've got my friend be like, "Hi, do you want to be in a film? You know, compose the music." Obviously, they'd be like, "Yeah, sure," because they want to get out there.
Cool.
So, what can you say? But
Are they from Brighton as well?
no, so films I've done in London, in Brighton as well. I have people that go to a school called BIM. So it's not a school actually; it's a university called BIM. It's like a music university. So they do like all music courses there, from songwriting to music producing. So because we're partnered with them, we just ask them, and then they'll just do whatever for us basically. So yeah, so we'll just be like, "Hi, we want some eerie music with a little bit of vocals, just a tiny bit." They'll just go and do it for us and bring it back to us. So yeah.
That's a nice system to have. The university students supporting each other.
Exactly.
Do you know if your mate would like a shout out on the podcast?
Oh, shout out to Paige.
Or your musician friend who composes the music?
Yes. Shout out to Nina. Her name's Nina. So yeah, she makes like a lot of like... She's a producer, she's a singer as well, but she's mainly produced. Like she makes a lot of beats, like she makes a lot of compositions as well, so she does that as well. I'll shout out to my friend Leah as well. She makes a lot of like... She's very versatile. Like she sings. She has like her own like EPs on Spotify. She does the whole thing as well. And my friend Aisha Neoma. I made a little comedy film called Tea and Bundles. So it was like it was part of a web series. I didn't finish it, but I just made like the pilot episode, and she made a little jingle to it. So I loved that. So yeah, definitely shout out to them. But
what was that called? So Tea and Bundles.
Tea and Bundles, yeah. So it was a comedy script, basically just based on me. So it wasn't based on myself, but it was based on a situation I had in real life where my friend, she went through like a sort of a hoe phase, sort of. So she was just, very, very, very like promiscuous, talking to like loads of people. That's about it, really. And then it basically like crumbled for her. Like she didn't get any action that she wanted. It all just crumbled before her. So I just made I was gonna make a series based on her experience. So that's right. I just made the first episode, and she was just talking to her brother, and she was talking to her parents. That's about it, really. But yeah.
Was she acting in it herself?
No, she wasn't. She wasn't. So I got different actors.
That's touching, though. Wow. Did you know if it helped her at all?
I mean, she just laughed at the situation because she's the person, she doesn't take herself seriously enough. So she just laughed at it, but she loved it anyway. But yeah, I used her as an inspiration because I said, if I'm making a film, I do want to do it based on something real, so such as a story I've been through, or someone else's experience, or I don't know, just anything else really.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How many films have you made?
See, that's subjective. How many films I made personally for myself or worked on?
Both.
Well, for myself, over 20, I guess.
That's amazing.
And then in terms of I've worked on loads. Like, I've done all roles on films. Like, I've produced, I've edited, I've been camera, I've even been like script supervisor, like minor roles on a set. Like, I've done everything. So what could I say? Honestly, I have no idea, but I say over 70 at least. Yeah, from how long I've been doing film. Literally since 2017 I've been doing film. So yeah, literally about 70 projects, yeah.
That is amazing.
About that I've worked on. As in, I have a credit on, yeah, about 70, yeah. But I've always like helped people behind the scenes that just like, not actually on set, but just be like, oh, like, Jacob, I've got this idea, blah, 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 can I run it by you? Like, I've done that plenty of times, so. But yeah, I've literally, like, credited, yeah, definitely been on quite a lot of projects, actually. But I just want to have more experience in an actual, like, professional environment. As in, obviously when you're on the set, you take it seriously, but it's like, to have an actual proper experience, like, at Warner Brothers or Paramount or Universal or even Fox, like those big film companies, to have like experience there, that is what I want. Like, that is my next step. So what can I say? Because I don't mind like making short films and stuff, but that's not the be all and end all for me. Like, I want to have fame. Like, I want my heads to be in lights. So what can I say? It's like, I want to be in LA making big films with these big, like, celebrities and, you know, going to the Oscars, like, after partying, winning and, you know, all of that. That's what I want to do. That's, like, my ambition. Like, I'm all for making films, but I don't want to make them for free and not have a name to myself. Like, I have a passion, but my passion, I want it to be in lights, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you don't want to just burn out, like
some people, like, they'll do film their whole life and not get anywhere. And I have that drive, but I don't want to not get anywhere. So if I'm doing it, I want to actually be somewhere from doing it, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you seem to be right on the way. 70 films in 3 years is incredible. Really.
Well, nearly 4, but yeah.
Yeah, it's almost 4 now. How many films have you worked on just in this year?
Oh, not a lot actually. Maybe about 6, 7. Since the year started, no. About 10. About 10, but that's only, but as I said, COVID hold a lot of things. What can you say?
Yeah,
like in terms of like working on, about 10, but filmed any of them literally only about 2 because COVID. So yeah, things that COVID did hit the film industry, but not as much as like other industries like musical theatre that's completely dead now. It's like film, COVID hit it, but people just needed to figure out different ways of filming social distancing wise, plus also just the fact that just social distancing wise they need to figure out things, and what else? Just production wise, just to make sure that, because production will take longer because you're allowed like less people on set and you can't have like too many groups of actors and things like that. So like production did have to change, but either way, the film industry is coming back. Like it's come back already. It's just that people just have to bear with the time of like making things now because you have to wait a little longer. So that's about it really. But yeah.
Right. So making the films is taking longer, or musical theatre is?
No, making the films is taking longer now because of COVID. You have to social distance and things like that. Yeah. That's why. But musical theatre industry, because you can't have big masses of crowds in an enclosed space, because musical theatre is in an enclosed space, you can't really have those performances. Plus also you got the rehearsals and things like that. So stuff like musical theatre, that's not going to come back until COVID is eradicated.
Jesus, that's heartbreaking for some reason.
Exactly. And I have like a lot of acting friends because I went to a college that does film, but they did like performing arts, basically, and creative arts in all aspects, from like musical theatre to acting to like graphic design to art itself. So I know a lot of friends who like did a musical theatre degree and they're like skeptical of the future because of COVID, so they're thinking, oh, do I still do my degree or do I do something else and go into like marketing or like art because I can make it there.
That's painful. Yeah. That's like Van Gogh putting down his brush and trying to sell.
Exactly. It's like Van Gogh putting down his brush and trying to say, I'm going to be a lawyer now.
It just wouldn't happen. It's in that person, like whether it's tragedy or love or whatever that's driven that emotion side of them to create a film that is powerful. Like you could find it in being a lawyer, I suppose, because you'd still have that drive, but it's not the same as creating a film.
Exactly.
Yeah. What sort of genres of film do you make?
So I make like comedies and dramas. That's like what I make, personally, comedies and dramas. I do like documentary film, but the topic has to be something different, or the subject has to be interesting. Right. I do prefer subject, maybe, as in like you analyse a person and their story, or like a situation that's happened, like an event. So yeah.
Have you personally made a documentary?
I have. I've made a couple documentaries. I made one about a farm. I hate animals as well, but it was a farm that supports like autistic children, and right. I do have a cousin that's autistic, so that did like hit close to home. So I did want to make a documentary about them. So yeah, so all the money they raise from the farm and like people buying tickets to come pet the animals and like selling the feed to give to the animals, it all goes towards autistic children. So I did like that part, so I made a documentary about that.
Where did that get posted to?
So It was mainly for coursework for college, but I just have it in my files for my like portfolio.
Yeah.
What else? And then I helped my friend make a documentary about Islington. So he lives in Islington, so in North London. So I was like, fine, I'll just help make a documentary. So he posted that to his YouTube. So literally, I just did camera for that and just helped him edit it. But I didn't edit it myself. I just was sitting with him editing it, basically. And then, what was the documentary I made? I made a documentary about Nollywood. So just a job about Nollywood and like the Nollywood industry. I made a documentary about that.
Is that Nigerian Hollywood?
Yeah, Nigerian Hollywood, basically. So like the whole like process of that, basically. I made another documentary as well. It was about student halls. So this was for university. So I made it about, I literally just interviewed like people in my flat from last year, and I interviewed people in private halls. So I was staying in university halls. So I interviewed people in private halls and a private house. So just to ask about the pros and cons of their living and if it's worth the money and why is it so expensive in the Brighton area. So I started just contract an interview. That's on YouTube.
What sort of results did you get from that?
What, just what I found out?
Yeah.
So I found out that honestly, if you're staying in university, the best option is to live in a private house. But the thing is that you do want a house that is decent because you don't want to pay for something that's not worth any money. Like, there's been a lot of people, especially in Brighton area, because it's a student area, there's a lot of like rundown houses that estate agents will glamify, and they'll just praise those houses, and they're literally not worth living in.
Jeez.
As in, they'll be like run down, or there'll be mold there, or they'll give you false promises of, oh, we're gonna fix this, we're gonna fix that. Then when you move in, they don't. So definitely there's houses like that, so you just need to be careful. But the best like bargain for your money is actually, well, in the Brighton area, it was stay in the house. But I've noticed that I did do some like extensive research as well, that when you go to like the Midlands, they do have more like private halls, but they're at a very cheap price. So in Brighton, the private halls are of good quality, however, they're very expensive. Like, most of the halls are about between 180 and £250 per week.
Right. Okay.
Which is a lot of money. So most people's loans can't even afford that, especially in Brighton, because it's not in London, so we don't get a extended amount of loan. Only Londoners do. So Londoners can afford that loan most likely, because you get more money if you stay in London, if you study in London. But Brighton is not a part of London, so you would get less money. So your parents would have to fund that, basically, outside of your student loan. But yes, either way.
Are there any telltale signs for if you're looking for a private house and you're trying to avoid a rundown, broken?
Well, first of all, just look at the walls. Like, look at the walls, inspect the like cupboards, look at the windows, see if the like windowsill is like molded or whatever. Look at the paint as well. The smell of the house. If you walk in and you can smell like mold or whatever, look at the bathroom as well. The most important thing to ask is, when you're looking for a house, is questions. Like, for example, when was the electricity last checked? When was the gas last checked? Does the house have a meter? Or is it on like, just mains electricity, as in you just plug in whatever, and you just get electricity, or do you have to top up? Just ask serious questions like, who were the last tenants, when was this last changed, etc. You need to be, when you find a house, you just need to be like, top tips as well, if people are looking for houses for next year, like your first year, you'll find a house for second year, or you're even in second year looking for houses for 30 years. Literally, you just need to be inquisitive. Like, ask those landlords, ask those estate agents the uncomfortable questions that this costs this much, how much is this with bills, what's your bills price, blah, blah, blah. I can get bills from this person for cheaper, can you match it, things like that. Like, literally, be as bold as you can. Ask the comfortable questions that, for example, who's lived here before, like, where were they from, were they international students, were they UK students, like, ask them, for example, okay, this table looks a bit run down, can it be replaced, etc. Right. Just questions like that. Ask them like, what is the itinerary for the room? What actually comes in here, etc. Things like that. So, what can I say? Either way, that's definitely the best way to just ask questions. You just need to be as inquisitive as possible.
Yeah, really diving in deep. There's no chance you can go wrong with finding out enough about the place.
Exactly.
What drew you to making a documentary about Islington?
So my friend mainly just asked me, but what drew him to do it was he just wanted to document his own area, because Islington is a place of like a lot of diversity. Like, you got very rich people, you got very poor people, then you have the in between, and he's basically in the in-between, so he just wanted to figure out like what makes his area tick, basically. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's about it, really. But either way, that's what he does, but it's fine though. Literally, London is such an interesting place. Like, every borough has its own secrets or its own way of life. Like, I just love it. That's why London, I'm residing in Brighton at the moment, just staying there for university. After university, I can't wait to go back to London and actually live there again, because there's just so much you can find out in that city. Like, it's so diverse. Everyone's so different. Not everyone has the same mindset. It's very like, it's an outrageous place, sort of, which is why I like it as well, because I am outrageous. Like, it can't be tamed, and that's why I love it.
Excellent. That's how everyone should. Well, not everyone, but if you're comfortable being that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Are your mates untamable as well?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. We don't have the same personality, but we're all outrageous and we're all outspoken, and
Yeah, you just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly. We just don't give a fuck. We're all confident, basically. So yeah.
Nice.
I do love that.
Yeah. When you were making the documentary about Nollywood, did you find that I don't know if I'm right in saying this, but is Nigeria less economically developed than UK?
Yes, it is.
Right.
It is.
Is there rate of film? Sorry, what were you going to say?
Yeah, it is less economically developed, but the thing is that in terms of the film industry there, it's more prevalent than the UK, as in more people know about it and they bring out content more frequently. But it's just that it might not be as of a higher quality than the UK, because they have like a lot of production. In Nigeria, they have a lot of production companies, and literally most of them are just. They have a lot of production companies, but most of them are just. I want just the. It sounds like that. They've got a lot of production companies, but they're not equipped with like big studio equipment, like for example, such as Fox or Warner Brothers or even Rain Dog Films. They don't have the best equipment possible, so they just make do with what they can, and then editing wise as well, because Nollywood films, they always work to a very strict schedule. Usually there'll be about 2 edits and then a final edit. When you have feature films from Warner Brothers, Fox, etc., the edit that actually goes into cinema would literally be about the about the 70th of 80th edit or version of that final project.
Wow.
So definitely.
So the reason they can't get that many edits through is because they can't afford to pay the editors.
Yes, they can't afford it, plus also the time constraints as well, because Nigerian films, they always film them quicker. So, for example, we might have, I don't know, like for Harry Potter, for example, it took them about, it was just from the UK, but it took them about 1 year to film the first one. And then it took about 1 year to film Harry Potter, so in Nollywood it'll take them about one film is about 2 months, 3 months. So their work rate is very crazy. But the thing is that it all makes sense at the end, because in Nollywood they would make the money though. They would make profit. But definitely.
In Nollywood they would, or Hollywood, did you say?
In Nollywood.
Wow. Oh, they do make profit.
They do make profit, but the things that with Nollywood is that they could make more money, but they don't, because most of the films, because of the very low budgets and the sheer amount of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sheer amount of people who just go to just go to cinema in general in Nollywood. It's like they break even for that reason, because the fact that most people there, cinema is a very, very big luxury. So if they go there, it's like, do they eat for the week, basically?
Right.
So, yeah.
That's harsh. That's like almost Victorian. Oh my God. Have there ever been any Nollywood companies that have been given a huge budget?
There has been. There's been a couple companies, like I forgot a production company, but it's a big film. It's very big. It was called The Wedding Party. That was the only film that exploded, and they made a sequel about it as well. And basically, it's just a big, massive film. So it's just like literally about a family, and both sides of the family get married, and one side is bad and one side is good. Right. But either way, it's fine.
That exploded all over the world then?
Yes, it did. It's on Netflix as well. It exploded everywhere when it came out, because people gravitated towards the comedy of it, plus also the fact that it was relatable to a lot of people. Like, some people don't like marriage, or some people are scared of marriage, so they just want an insight to someone else's marriage, basically.
Okay. That's fascinating. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Do you think Nigerians have a different sense of comedy to us?
I do. They do have a little bit more vulgar jokes as well.
Nice. That's sick. What other genres did you say you made? Those documentaries and
comedies, dramas, kung fu. That's about it, really. Yeah.
Kung fu.
Kung fu. Yeah, kung fu. Yeah. So like martial arts films. I made one before. So it was basically based off two JoJo's fighting, and yeah, they just came together and had like a little tournament. So yeah, I've made a martial arts film. So yeah,
that's really cool. Did you set up a story around it?
Yes, but it wasn't me. It was my friend's film. I just helped him, but yeah, he also did like choreography for the fights as well, because obviously there's a safety issue if you just have two people just fighting randomly.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm currently doing film combat, and I did street fighting as well as film combat last year, and we're doing work with swords. And
swords, okay.
Yeah. It's scary. If you don't rehearse that stuff, it could slit someone's throat.
Exactly. Man. Or if you mess about, or if you're not 100% focused, you will slice them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But are you using real swords, or?
I cannot remember the name for it now. There's swords that you slash with where they have a sharp edge, and then there's swords where it's like a sort of rectangular shape it's like a flat edge along the sides.
Long sword. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much, with a little like rubber thing on the end. But if you pushed hard enough, you could probably kill the other person. And we work with a plastic dagger as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. And that's to do acting for film.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So maybe some point in the future, if you make a kung fu film.
Yes. I'd love to listen to the acts as well, because I heard your talents the other day. Really good.
That's dang. Did you say you made comedy as well?
Yes, I made comedies as well.
What genre of comedy did you go for?
Define that, because I just look at comedy as comedy, just something that's funny, but...
So...
I've gone for more like... not slapstick comedies, more like... I don't know what genre of comedy, but more like... I'd say more... better comedy, yeah.
Okay.
I'd just say more like... observational comedy. So, for example, like, you can see what's happening. You can hear why people are.
Yeah, I get you. It's not about just like someone slipping on a bit of butter and falling and laughing at that. You have to be deep with it. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. And yeah. Do you ever mix genres at all?
Yeah, but only when it's like a comedy and like a drama, or like. Yeah.
Right, comedies and dramas. Mm. How did your dramas go?
How do you mean dramas go?
Yeah. Did you enjoy making them?
Yeah, I do. Because listen, I love like actors acting. Like, I just love the fact that comedy and dramas, like, they just gel together because the actors are the same. But they just tell a joke or, they do a funny action, so it all pulls together. Also,
the comedy can sometimes be accidental as well.
Yes, or the comedy is just there to just increase the height of the film, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, of course. It's fine without it, but it adds that spice.
Exactly.
That horseradish sauce to the burger. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Do you ever use camera angles to spice up your work?
Yeah, so I usually use like dollies or jibs. So literally, like, they're like, so a dolly is just a little track we use for movement, and then jibs we use for angles, so up, down, left, right. It just adds more dimension to your work.
Okay. Do you like working with 45-degree angles and such?
Not really. I mainly prefer like flat shooting with like a spiced up edit, but I don't mind really.
Right. Do you like movement shots at all? Like tracking?
Yes, I do. I do like...
Nice.
When you use the dolly, I do like those. Those are cool. Like, if you have a dolly track, you'll just run it by. I do like that. I do also like the steady cams as well. Like all the Ronins, the air-held ones. I do like those items. They really do actually give a good... They just add more depth to the film as well. So I do like those.
Nice. Do you like getting metaphorical with your camera angles at all?
No, not really.
That's fair enough.
No, I just have to keep it simple. But if I get metaphorical, I will be metaphorical in the film's not synopsis, but in what the film is about, or I'll be metaphorical in what I know is going to happen.
Like, you'll explain it to the audience in the description of the film?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically.
Right, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. Rather than just keeping it a mystery, it's so many filmmakers do.
Yeah, exactly.
I try to work with metaphors wherever I can. Really, like if I've written a music video about some cult leaders, and I've tried to make the good guys wearing like all white and holding a white briefcase, and the bad guys wearing black, etc., to show their dark, impure side. Which I personally felt was pretty dank. Yeah, just like I was trying to use drone shots as well to show how small they are.
Yeah, exactly. I love drone shots as well. I feel like drone shots just add. They give the. I feel like this just add the element of 3D to film. I feel like it just. I feel like they're good because it just adds more perspective. Like, just gives more extra detail into what you're filming and where you're filming, etc.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it does. It shows the whole location as well as the character.
What about you? In terms of you being an actor, what is like your ideal? Like, would you want to be doing theatre shows? Would you want to be on the big screen?
Big screen, definitely. Okay. I'm definitely not a stage person. I quite like the rush.
What's your query with stage?
My what? Sorry.
What's your query with stage? Like, why wouldn't you want to be a stage actor?
I like how in depth it gets. Like with the camera, it's so close, and if you're feeling an emotion of like grief on stage, you can show it with your full body. You can really break down, but in real life, it might just be like a little crack in your face where you break down, and that's what I love about the film. Although I do like the rush that you get when you're on stage, and the whole audience is watching you. That's sort of like, in a way, that attention seeker sort of thing. Like,
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
So would you want to do like stuff for... First of all, what type of actor are you?
Anything. I love anything. Like, I did some Fright Night work about a week ago, last Friday.
Okay.
And...
At Charlie's Farm?
Where, sorry?
Charlie's Farm, Friday night? Oh, at Thorpe Park?
No, I don't know. I'd quite like to do Thorpe Park. I did it at this trampoline park.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was pretty cool because I got a room just to myself with the people that would walk in whilst they'd be solving this puzzle, and I'd just be freaking the hell out of them. That was quite fun, to be fair. Played some sort of like insane Joker type character.
Okay.
And really like screamed in their face. It was fun getting that direct like contact with them. And I'd have this chain, just bash it on the table, whip it back up. The loud noise would scare the shit out of them. As well as comedy. I quite enjoy comedy acting recently. I like to find that if I can't play a certain genre, I'll push myself to play it until...
You can do it perfectly.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Because isn't your actors like, you can't be a one-trick pony, because then, obviously I'm in the film, I want to be a director, but people who are directors, they'll be like, you can only act that way, we don't want you, if you get what I'm trying to say. So yeah. But that is so interesting though.
Did you say you don't want the director to own you? As an actor?
I said direct. Did that? Yeah. Yeah, sort of, because you just don't want the director to take control, basically. Because here's the thing: when you make a film, it's like you have the producer. That's the whole logistics of the production. Then the director is the creative least guy. He's the one that owns the creative vision, sort of. But then, if there's no logistics to back his ideas, then there's no film. So that's what the producer has to do, basically. But what can I say?
Sorry, what do you mean by logistics?
So by logistics, for example, if there's no budget, if there's no time, if things aren't scheduled right, that's what the producer has to do. He has to make sure all the logistical aspects of the film are in tip-top shape.
Right, that makes sense, yeah. Without the budget, none of it will work.
I
found that in my own music video. It's hard without a budget. It really is difficult.
That's what I'm saying. And you need to make sure that everyone's on the same page. Everyone can shoot these one day, these like couple days. Everyone can do what you need them to do on this day.
Yeah. Did you ever find that locations were a struggle? Because that's the main struggle I'm having.
What, looking for locations?
Yeah.
In this COVID time, yes. But beforehand, no, not really. I haven't struggled like that. I think it's because I know I'm very good with Google search. Maybe that's why.
Right. How do you find them on Google search? Because that would really benefit me. I'm struggling at the moment. I've had to message some of my actors asking if I could film scenes that are directed inside of a character's bedroom, inside of their house. And understandably, they were like, no. My family.
Well, I think you just have to. I think it's just about networking and getting around. Literally, I'd be like, okay, where can I film? Where can't I film, etc.
Right. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. So with Google searches, do you like use Google Maps or?
Yeah, I usually use Google Maps. Google Maps is the best bet. If you type in I don't know, abandoned house on Google Maps, something should come up that you can go to, or if you just Google it in general, just look for articles and then word of mouth, basically. It depends. But as a producer, that's what it'll be. You have to be very resourceful anyway, so you have to make sure that you can utilise the internet to its fullest capacity.
Right, okay, that's probably the best resource we have nowadays of information. Mm-hmm. Might as well tap into it.
Exactly.
Yeah, whether it's through just random knowledge through a podcast or directly searching for a location.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What did you find with lighting? Outdoor lighting, because I'm struggling with cloudy lighting at the moment. I tried to film a scene and people just
you need a reflector. So
right.
What you need to do is, if you have a reflector, obviously just reflect where the actor is overexposed, and you just reflect the light onto them so they can go where you need to look, basically. Or, I'm not gonna lie, daylight is your best light, but if it's a cloudy look, then you're gonna just want to go inside and try and fake it till you make it, basically, is what I'm saying.
Okay, right, so you make it seem as if the shot that you're filming inside was outside.
Yes.
God, that's difficult. Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah.
You can always green screen it, it's up to you.
Right. Mm-hmm. I could do, to be fair, that could work. What? Yeah. But surely if you... I've probably misunderstood what you said, but if you reflected onto the area with too much light, wouldn't that just make it brighter?
Yeah, I would just make it brighter, but the thing is that it depends on the reflection, because you can have a silver reflection, which gives more light, or a white reflection, which basically, because there's announced light on you, it takes away the light. So for example, if you want to add light, you put it on a shiny glossy surface, because that basically gathers all the light rays and then directs them. If you want it to take away light, you just put it on a white surface and hold it towards the target, because then if you want it on a white surface, it will basically just gather all the light rays and take it away from you, so you look more dull. It's just how colour works, basically. Just colours and how they match and how they, do what they do together. But yeah.
Right, I get you. So certain colours can actually make something darker.
Yes.
Wow.
So if you have the colour white or black, it will make things darker. But white especially, it just absorbs the rays that aren't needed as much, and then it just shuts down, basically. So yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Do you struggle getting actors during COVID times?
Yes, you do. Because a lot of actors don't want to come to auditions, they'd rather just give you something online, but then online is most of the time it's not good enough. You want to actually witness the actor in front of you. You want to witness the actors and you want to learn who the actor is, basically. So yeah.
Okay, you can't just see their face and think, okay, this guy's good for me.
You can't just see their face and voice be like, okay, this is it, because you want to see them perform, you want to see their hand movement, you want to see exactly what they do and, you know, how they go about it.
Right. You also want to like them as a person. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense. Keep that in mind. But that's kind of worked with me, to be fair. I'm not going to name any names, but I love the actors I'm working with on my music video. They're all pretty sound people.
So your music video, are you directing it, or are you filming it, or?
I've written it, directed, and going to film it when I have all of my resources, locations available.
Oh, okay.
It's my stepbrother's music, and I've kind of based it off of this Charles Manson-y cult leader who gets eventually beaten down, not physically beaten down, but all his followers leave him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
What do you think? Because when I listened to Ricky Thompson and what was his name? Denzel Dion. Ricky Thompson is beautiful with his makeup. What do you think about men's makeup?
What, men makeup? I think it's fine. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, some men are coming for females. I do feel like makeup is a feminine product, but I do feel as though men are allowed to wear it, so...
Yeah. It's just depending on what people want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Either way, I do support men in makeup. I think there should be more men in makeup because, you know, why not? Why not let there be more men in makeup? Me personally, I have a talent for it because I can't draw or paint for my life. So especially a makeup brush, I just laugh. So what can I say?
Did you say you do have it, or you don't have a talent for it?
I don't have a talent for it. Right. So like drawing, painting, sculpting, I have no talent for it whatsoever.
Right. It's just like that. It's just with our hands. Your creativity is with your mind, with directing.
Exactly.
Wow. So when you're working with actors, do you find that you're like very strict with them? Or are you pretty like chilled out, laid back?
I'm pretty chilled out. I'm pretty chilled out, but if they're not understanding or comprehending, I do get pretty stressed out. Like, hello, like, we're wasting time, like, we've got a set amount of time, our time is finite, we need to actually film this, so
yeah.
What can you say?
What happens when an actor isn't understanding the scene? Like, you're trying so hard to get them to act it, and you can tell they're trying really hard as well, but it's just not clicking.
I get that. I mean, if it's not clicking, then what can you do? Like, the thing is that I'm the type to be like, okay, if it's not clicking, let me work with you on it. But then at the same time, sometimes people do need tough love to be like, okay, well, if it's not clicking, you need to sort of figure that out by yourself. So what can I say?
Right. Do you ever have to abandon a scene and be like, we'll get back to it later? Have you ever had to do that?
I've had to do that a couple of times. In fact, no, it's happened to me like multiple times actually, where the actors don't know how to do it or they're not the right size. I was like, okay, well, you need to disappear, sorry, because it's just like, I don't know.
Have you ever started making a film and it hasn't worked because an actor's just disappeared? Because they've left like that?
No.
Oh, okay.
I've never had that problem before, and hopefully I never do.
Yeah. Have you ever had to abandon a film just because you think, okay, this wasn't going to work? Even
I have. There's happened a couple of times I've abandoned films because I'm just like, okay, I'm not gonna lie, this idea's rubbish, or I don't feel like this should be made, and if it is made, we have like a heat of not ideas, but a heat of like morals when making something. Like, some people will do anything to get a viral piece of content or a good film, but that's not me. I'm not gonna break my morals and my integrity just for a film. No, that would never ever ever happen. So what could I say?
Yeah, respect to that. You wouldn't say something straight to someone's face just to get a reaction from a big group. So why would you do it in the bigger terms?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
That's respect to that, yeah. Do you appreciate art, like paintings and that, in the same way you appreciate
I do now. I didn't used to, but I do now appreciate art and I appreciate film now. Only because there was a show I watched actually called She's Gotta Have It. It was made by Spike Lee.
I love that film, yeah.
But her final piece was remarkable, as in, it just... Her final piece was just...
Her final piece.
It's just... Her final piece was so provocative. It was on a show called She's Gotta Have It. So, her final piece was like, basically coming from the roots of America. It was like a black lady who was naked and hung, and the hanging was on her neck, and she cut her neck.
I never knew that. That is so dark. I thought it was just a romance with this beautiful story of these three men trying to get this girl, but it's...
Yeah. It's, wow. So dark series, or some Netflix. So dark series, but I do like... I do think it's a bit much.
I've only seen the film. But that is an hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
That's the podcast done. It's an hour.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
It's been real nice.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Anytime.
Sick,
when I come here. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, they'll be back.
Okay, thank you.
Ta-ra.